Hello and welcome to Blytheway Business News, where we're going to be sharing a bit of a first with you. More of that in a moment. Today's guests are Oriole Resources, listed on the AIM market in London, a ticker of ORR, and a market capitalisation of around £19 million. The company is an explorer for gold in Cameroon, Senegal, and also has royalty interests in other parts of the world. The first is we're joined by Chief Exec Tim Livesey, CFO Bob Smeeton, and VP for Exploration and Business Development Claire Bay. Not from the studio, but the guys are actually out there in Cameroon. Guys, welcome to Blytheway. Bob, what are you doing out there in Cameroon today?
Hi, Tim. Yeah, we've been working around Cameroon for 2.5 years since Tim and I joined the company, and we've actually reached a pretty critical stage of what we're doing. So we thought it was essential we came out here. We've obviously we're in the early stages of our drilling program at Bibemi, which I think Tim and Claire will talk through later. We also have got various corporate tasks we need to complete. We've obviously got a subsidiary already in Cameroon, but we're about to take control of the subsidiary that owns the Bibemi license. So we've got various meetings in Yaoundé after we finish the trip to the drilling camp, where we're meeting advisors, we're meeting government ministers, and basically getting our corporate house in order in Cameroon at this essential time.
Bob, I know you're a good CFO. You're not going to tell me you're out there and not looking at the cost base as well.
Well, absolutely. I mean, this is where the shareholders' money goes. So I'm here with an eye on what goes on. It's my first ever drilling camp, so I'm here to check and understand and just see where the shareholders' cash goes, because this is where we add the most value, but we also spend the most money.
So, all right, first time on a drilling camp. How are you finding it?
As you can imagine, these two gave me some horror stories on the way out. But I'm actually finding it really good. We've got a very experienced team here who've drilled many places around Africa. So they managed to set up on quite a tight budget, a really good drilling camp. I'm delighted with what we've got. It's pretty close to an international airport as well. I mean, access is good. It's 60 miles from Gara, which is a regional town, a good airport. Comms is good, as you can tell, because we're talking to you. So, yeah, I'm finding it really interesting. Yeah, really good.
Okay.
Hot.
But, I'm sure it is. Let me turn to Tim now. Tim Livesey, Chief Exec. Tim, how's the drilling campaign going?
It's going really well, thanks, Tim. We're on just about completing hole number 4. As you remember from previous conversations, we planned around 28, 29 holes based on the targets we'd seen from all the previous work we've done. And as we only have a single drill rig, we are sort of stepping through those targets one by one, completing hole 4, most likely tonight or possibly tomorrow morning. There's logging going on in the background. We're doing a lot of, you spend a lot of money getting the core, so we're getting the most out of it. It's all audited, it's logged, and then sampled. We've got our first batch of samples off for preparation at the moment. So the program's going well. We're starting to see some of the targets we're aiming for from surface expression. We're hitting in the core. That's good. And we're also seeing some blind veining and blind alteration in targets that we hadn't seen from surface. So that obviously gives us great enthusiasm for success when we eventually get into the meat of the program. We've got 4 target areas being covered, 4 main areas, and we're drilling section lines on each one. Sometimes, with these programs, you drill a hole and you may move the next hole slightly based on the information you get from the first hole. It's a dynamic sort of organic process, and it's really good to be here with our team, with Abdul, our Senegalese West African manager, geological manager, and Constantine, the geologist, and the other geologists in the camp, as we go through this early stage, and we start to see what we've been sort of hoping has been there from all of our surface work in the last couple of seasons.
Claire, let me turn to you. Other than what you're seeing at the actual drill sites, What are you liking about the area in general?
I mean, there's just an enormous amount of potential. We first got excited with Bibimy based on selective rock chip sampling that we conducted in 2018. Back then, that returned grades of up to 135 grams per tonne, and we've subsequently extended the initial strike length of the system to 8 kilometres, and in total have defined 4 key prospects over that strike length. Now, obviously, they've been cherry-picked by a geologist, and so we were expecting them to have high grades, but we've endorsed that work, that initial work, through the trenching, which has delivered intersections of up to 9 meters at more than 3 grams per tonne. And because we don't have a lateritic cover here, we've been able to get a huge amount of valuable geological and structural information from that trenching campaign, understand the orientation of the structures, the best optimal direction for us to conduct our drilling campaign, and subsequently we've progressed to the drilling phase very, very quickly. Based on a visual assessment of the rocks, of the drill holes so far, as Tim's already mentioned, we've got blind veins, so they're not having a surface expression, which is a real bonus. We don't know what they carry yet in terms of gold, but it's certainly making the whole region even more prospective than we originally thought. And right across the license, we're seeing highly mineralized quartz float, which is really indicative of the scale of this system. And as well as that, we've got little pockets of artisanal miners that are working across the license, and we're very encouraged by seeing that, because it's telling us there's gold of economic quantities for them, and we've just got to find the hard rock source of it.
Can't artisanal miners sometimes be a bit of a problem for mining companies? I mean, how are you finding those relationships? And also, you know, boots on the ground, literally in Cameroon, how are you finding relationships with the local communities?
With everything we've seen so far, it's been really pleasing. We've had discussions personally with the local artisanal miners. They've been very friendly. I think some of the negative press is more what you're seeing in, for example, West Africa, other parts of West Africa, where you get hundreds to thousands of artisanal miners, and they can sometimes be lots of hostility because they think you're taking their gold. Here, we're, as I said, we've got pockets of artisanal miners, groups of maybe 10, 15 people, so very small scale. They've been very friendly, as I said, and really they're targeting the very surface quartz veins, and also the alluvial gold as well. We've got flat-lying veins at the system, as we've messaged previously, the importance of them for building a volume of a deposit, but here it's enabling the artisanal miners to chase the vein very close to surface. So really their artisanal pits are only going down a few meters. They're really not targeting that deeper resource, which is obviously what we're after. But yeah, so far, all good.
And the local community relationships?
Very friendly. We've got a lot of the local staff working with us in our camp, providing support provisions. The whole camp, we've got 4 expat drillers. We've got expat country manager, Abdul, as Tim's mentioned, but the rest of the team is Cameroonian, and specifically a lot of the staff are coming from Garowe. So we've got strong cultural inclusivity in the camp itself.
Excellent. Tim, let me just come back to you for a final question. Sounds like you've got a lot going on with all the drilling. What else is happening within Oriole?
As much as Bob will allow us to do when he undoes the purse strings, quite a lot. Obviously, in Cameroon's our main focus, and in addition to the drill program here, we've recently been awarded 8. Well, with our partner, we've got a total of 8 new exploration licenses in central Cameroon. So 3,500 square k's of prospective ground down there, and we are currently planning to kick off an orientation stream sediment sampling program in the next couple of weeks. to prepare for a more fulsome stream sediment sampling program through the remainder of the first half of this year, basically up until the rains force us out of the streams. So Cameroon's obviously focused on that. We're doing a little bit up at Wapouzi still, which is obviously the next license along from Bibemi from a development standpoint. And then the rest of the assets, obviously Senegal is our key partnership with IronGold. They've just reached the end of year 3 earning on the option agreement. They've got one more year to go to finalise the first phase of the option agreement. And we're discussing with them work programs right now. We had a call with them last week, and we'll be notifying the market further on what those programs look like as we move forward. We've got, as you mentioned at the beginning, we still have our royalty assets in Turkey, and as especially the copper-based assets, as the copper price is stabilised at a reasonably good level, despite the minor sort of hiccups recently. The value of those assets remains, and those are being a couple of those are being progressed. So we're getting closer to receiving actual royalty payments if we decide to keep them rather than looking to obtain value elsewhere through those. And then finally, we have still investment in 2 private companies in East Africa, Tani Djibouti and Tani Resources with license in Egypt. And both of those we're just a shareholder effectively, but we look for the Djibouti assets have been explored at the moment. We've been releasing the reporting as it comes into us. We're waiting for assay results, I believe, on the last round of work there. And the Egyptian Tani Stradix Egypt, again licenses with gold resource in Egypt, which is a growing focus for a lot of companies these days. We've seen recently, obviously, B2 and Barrick and others take up large land positions in Egypt. So it'll be interesting to see those develop and how we can realize value from those assets. So so we're focused in Cameroon. We're committed to Cameroon. We like being here. It's a really good environment, but we do have obviously a major underpinning value from Senegal and all those other opportunities for realization value across the asset base.
Tim, thank you for that. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for taking time out to speak to us today. That was the team from Oriole Resources doing Blitheway's first outside broadcast from Cameroon. How about that? As I said at the top of the show, Oriole Resources listed on the AIM market with a ticker of ORR and a market capitalization of around £19 million. That's it for today from Blitheway Business News. Thanks for watching.